Good morning and welcome to an increasingly rare Sunday antisocial hour. This morning, Sunday falls on Wednesday this week. It's kind of weird how that. Actually, I think it's Tuesday. It's Tuesday. I'm going to quit apologizing for the length of time between the videos. Apparently, this is the new normal. Life prevents me from living. Basically, life is tedium. Actually, it's less tedium and more. Well, I went to the ER last night. Not me. I took my kid to the ER last night. So that wasn't tedious. It wasn't boring. Kiddo fell. He was running around the house and fell. He falls all the time. This is totally normal. But for some reason, this fall caused a lot of pain in his back. He's 6. I'm like, you're way too young. You're way too young to have back pain. But I think it knocked the wind out of him. And I remember when I was 6 and I tried to do a flying Ninja Turtle kick at a leaf on a tree that was just a little out of my range as a little fat suburban wilderness hero. And I totally did the spinny thing in the air, but I just didn't land it. And so I landed, my lungs broke my fall, and all the oxygen in my body just went poof. And I think that must have been what happened to Kiddo last night, because he was in some deep distress there for a minute. And then he said that his back hurt. He said, all my bones hurt. So, we both were like, this is nothing. This is just a normal fall. Maybe he's strained a muscle or something. But when your kid says, all my bones hurt, you go to the ER. Walk in the ER. Every single person in Asheville, North Carolina was in the ER last night. I don't know if they were throwing like a Delta variant rave or something. Everybody was there. But what I learned, get this, if you have a kid, you get on a whole different, there's a whole different plane of existence in the ER for kids. There's pediatric ER. And so there were no other kids in the ER, and we sailed right through. I guess everybody else in there was like a boomer, coughing up a spleen or whatever. And so, we literally didn't even sit down in the waiting room. They were just like, we got your room, come on. We're like, awesome. And so we went in there and they took some x-rays and they were like, yeah, you're fine, go home. But it was a little bit of a late night. And he is currently in music camp. This is his second music camp and his third camp total, plus summer school. We're doing summer school because now that he's out of kindergarten, he's basically a juvenile delinquent, so they make him go to summer school. I am smoking in the most handsome Missouri Meerschaum legend ever, bought from Aristocob.com. Thank you, Scott. I am smoking, I didn't bring the jar down here with me, smoking 5-year-old Beck's Old Limey Bastard, and it is divine. YouTube has done another comment dump. I don't understand. I don't know why this happens. You've heard me complain about it before. This is another reason why the Sunday Antisocial is now an every now and then antisocial, is because I don't get any comments, and then I get a bunch of comments all at once. There's no notifications ever. I've stopped getting notifications about the comments. But basically, I'm scrolling through my comments, right, and I get Norbo 1 week ago, Howard Sandler 2 weeks ago, and then 3 weeks ago, Andrew. Okay, so that all makes sense. And now 2 years ago. 2 years ago from someone I've never heard of before. 11 months ago from Jeremy Harbin. 11 months ago from how do people do this? How do the big name YouTubers, well, they start a subreddit for themselves. Who's gonna join the Max Cooper AVL subreddit? Not me. Definitely not me. That sounds like a boring time. So we're just going to do the best we can here with your questions. Norbo says he still has his first corncob pipe from 1988. It's very good, Norbo. Appreciate that. So what'd you... never mind. I was going to make an age joke, but I can't do that anymore. You know you're old when you've aged out of calling other people old. That is the line when you can no longer in good conscience make age jokes. Ask Gribbs, says Norbo, are you aware of a digital stereo camera? No, I am not. And I think we've talked about this before, but the thing about a digital stereo camera is that it would be twice the price of whatever other, like basically if you had a Sony A7 III, which is $2,000, you have to double the sensor, right? So that would, I mean, it'd be at least 3,500. It'd be super expensive. Nobody wants to do that because then you need a whole different way to. The driving force behind media. This is a big statement I'm getting ready to make here. The driving force behind photography, at least in 2021, is what fits on Instagram. I've been shooting video lately for not this kind of video, but like actual video professionally, which I never set out to do, by the way. But pandemics happen, and so I've been shooting video. I didn't realize video sucks. I mean, I realized that. I knew I didn't want to shoot video, but like the resolution of video is tiny. It's so small, and I'm like. I mean, intellectually I knew that, but like when I'm trying to zoom in to see if things are in focus, like it doesn't matter if things are in focus. You can't see it anyway. The point that I'm trying to make is media always has a medium. And, back in the day when photography was first getting started, there was room to experiment because we didn't know that the dominant medium would be a print you can hold in your hand or see in the newspaper. And now the dominant medium is whatever you can see on your phone or device or whatever. And that's how people communicate. So unless you want to have two iPhones glued to your face, which I'm sure someone out there does, I don't see stereo jump into digital. Howard Sandler left some excellent comments on the Crown graphic video. And Howard, I will respond to those a little bit. Everybody else, you don't have to watch this. This is just nerd stuff. By the way, speaking of nerd stuff, you know what? I haven't even posted it yet, but the next thing coming up on my Patreon is a photo of film grain. That's it. It's just the grain. I zoomed in on the grain in one of my photos, and that I'm presenting as a high-res photo. That's how nerdy I am, because I really like to talk about the structure of the film grain. It matters. It matters. If you ever get back at, he says with the Crown graphic, I cringed when you removed the rangefinder and viewfinder to save weight. I understand that. I get that. And yes, it was probably calibrated to the Optar, but that wasn't the Optar that came with it. And I don't trust rangefinders. I wrote about this on my Patreon page. I like WYSIWYG viewing. If I'm gonna go to the trouble of shooting large format, I want to focus on the ground glass. And I'm making some plans, y'all. I'm making some plans. I don't think I'm going to go back to a Crown or a Speed graphic, but I'm making some plans about that. Let me answer the rest of Howard's points here. Graphmatic film magazines, yes, that sounds cool. I didn't have the camera long enough to hunt one of those down. Reversing the front standard, absolutely, I would do that. But again, didn't have it very long. That was a short-lived experiment. To get verticals without a heavy tripod, there is another tripod hole on the left side. Yes. Yes. I'm lazy. That's the problem. I'm lazy. And so I didn't want to undo the plate. Excuse me, I have tobacco in my mouth. I didn't want to undo the plate and of course I could put two plates on there, but then it's uncomfortable to hold the camera. You see, these cameras were not made to do what I want to do. And that is why I got rid of it. After all the bitching and moaning I did, nobody could hear the lawn mowing and the weed bike. Today is apparently it's Tuesday. I'm told it's Tuesday, and no one is mowing out there, which is one reason I decided to actually finally record a video this morning. So you guys remember the camera testing video I did on the Netar, and like a couple of weeks ago I read a comment of someone just raking me over the coals because the composition in my test photos was boring. It wasn't, but anyway, Andrew Howarth says, your testing procedure is first rate and the subjects are nice. So I just wanted to add that to the conversation. Thank you so much, Andrew. Howard asks Max, inequityism, injustice, unfairness. Why should Max have more talent than me? Why should Max have more brains? I don't think I have more talent or brains than anybody. That's not true. There's definitely some people I have more talent and brains than, but not most. I think that it's more about. I mean, I don't know what rubric we're going with here. I mean, photography. I think it's more about, in general, I think life and creative pursuits, it's more about where you invest the energy that you do have. Talent, brains, whatever. What do you study? What do you feed? What part of your interests are you loyal to? That's what I think it's about. Because, that whole thing about you need 10,000 hours of something to become a master. That's really not that much. That's really not that much time to become a master at something. I think you need a lot more than that. But the point is, you really need to invest. Timber Drifter. Man, I used my old Samsung S7 to take pictures, sold some at a flea market. Sold them all. Didn't even save the images. Oh, it hurts me. They sold for $50 each. Your profit was $25 each. Timber Drifter, you need an art coach, my friend. You need somebody from New York City to tell you how to live your life. That's what helped me. Just kidding. I don't know how to live my life. But the point is, at least save the images. You're hurting me. This hurts. I want to see your photos. Jeez. Scrolling on down. Man, and now we're okay. Now in between two comments from 4 weeks ago, there's one from like 2 years ago. Overpipe says, I think you should increase the amount that your patrons give. That's not really how it works. I can't just say, hey patrons, I just need some more money this month. Would you mind? And secure the shotgun mic that you want. Can't wait to see you wear a lav mic on video. I mean, do you really, like, how much equipment could I pour into making videos in my garage before they wouldn't look like videos made in my garage? Muddy Utters asks Max, as a fat suburban wilderness hero, if you were going to lose weight, how would you do it? I wouldn't. That's why I'm a fat suburban wilderness hero. He says, asking for a friend. Man, what? So those of you who have followed my channel for a while have heard me talk about various aspects of why I am still a fat suburban wilderness hero as opposed to just a suburban wilderness hero. Mostly just because it has a lilt to a fat suburban wilderness hero. Just, hey, I'm your suburban wilderness hero, buddy. That just doesn't. Yeah, so that's why. I mean, I could totally lose. I could be a GQ model, but I just want to keep that tagline. Our society is not built to make you healthy. It's not built to help you get healthy, and it's definitely not built to make you feel better about yourself. So I think that the beginning of any journey must start with an honest and fairly deep assessment about why you want to undertake the journey and who you can trust on that journey. And I think that if weight loss is brutal. I mean, not to say it can't be done, not to say it shouldn't be done. But the times in my life when I have successfully lost weight, it's rough. It's hard work. And if you're not doing that for the right reasons, you're never gonna make it. Hence why I've never made it. To give you like an actionable answer to your question, I think that the first thing you should do is get some therapy. If you're not into therapy, then go like meditate in the woods or something, read some self-help books or whatever you want to do. You got to get your head on straight, and it can't have anything to do with how you look. Can't have anything to do with your self-image. It has to be for reasons of like actual health and an actual genuine desire to improve yourself for the sake of improving yourself, not for anyone else, not for whatever. And I'm not there yet, so I've put quite a bit of effort into it, and I'm not there yet. So I don't know how you get there, but I don't think you can really do much until you get there, because yeah, you might be tough, and yeah, you might be determined, But until your head's on straight, you're not going to maintain it. I think counting calories is probably the best method. All the other methods to me have like there's like a whiff of scam to them. Atkins, paleo, all that. I think what it comes down to is thermodynamics, and you can't burn what you don't, or you can't store what you don't burn. You have to eat less than you burn, and you'll lose weight. You will lose weight, absolutely, you will. But it gets so complicated. It gets like all the mental stuff. And then like, you can lose weight eating Twinkies, but are you actually nourishing yourself? So what I would do, I think the best way is probably find a dietitian, find a personal trainer, ask experts, and do it that way. If you can't afford that, like most people in the United States, or probably anywhere, get educated, get smart, find out what a balanced. I still don't know what a balanced diet is. I'm seriously in talks with a nutritionist friend. Like, can you please teach me what a balanced diet? Will pay you to tell me what I should be eating. I will say this, one thing I have learned is when it comes to exercise, number one, exercise isn't that important for losing weight. And number two, the best exercise is the exercise that you'll do. Like, it doesn't matter how good the exercise is if you don't want to do it. And so you got to find exercise that you love. For me, that was biking. That was running way back in the day. I really liked running. And then I basically destroyed my legs. And I'm still paying for that. By the way, I don't want to talk about it too much, but I'm injured right now. And that's one reason you haven't been seeing any videos from me, is I haven't been out in the woods. And that is why I'm going absolutely insane. Really, I need to get out. I need to get out in the woods, but I've got a hurt foot leg combo thing going on. And so I got physical therapy in a few hours. They've been giving me some shots, yada, yada, yada. I don't really want to talk about it, but I hate it because I can't go fishing or shoot photos or anything. And I'm just in a terrible mood all the time. Over a pipe, ask Max. Just to be clear, the current sitting president not allowing journalists and photographers to access facilities on the southern border is not Marxist. Maybe it's not communism either. Confused face. No, it's not. This question was 4 weeks ago because of my dereliction of duty here on my YouTube channel. When we were talking about Marxism back in the day. Did I say this in the last video? Marxism is an economic principle. Marxism is like where do you put your money and who's got the money, and like it has very little to do. Marxism has very little to do with the transparency of government. Socialism is an economic system based on the ideas of Marxism, and then like all the other stuff we've learned since Marx wrote his thing, manifesto. Communism is totalitarian socialism, but communism by no means has a lock on totalitarianism. It is one type of totalitarianism. So Joe Biden not letting journalists access the facilities on the border, which I agree is wrong, does not equate to communism, right? It equates to a lack of transparency in government, which is a hallmark of authoritarian states. That's true. But it could also be fascism. It could be, your basic feudal society. Feudalism, is that a system of government? I don't know. But there's a million other flavors of authoritarianism other than communism. But aren't we socialists in America these days? Yeah, we have been since like the 1900s. Like since it's called social security. It's not a free market principle. America has always been a mixed economy. And anyone who doesn't think that they are living in a mixed economy in any country is basically just following a utopian principle. If you think you live in a free market, go try to buy alcohol on a Sunday morning in North Carolina. Dan Marino says, do you have any Tenkara fishing plans this summer? I I sure did. I like your adventure videos, especially the fishing ones. I do too. I barely tolerate your trees. Well, thanks, I guess. Yeah, so my doctor initially said I had to cut my activity by 50% if I wanted to heal up. I cut my activity by like 75% and did not start to heal up until I discovered this one weird trick that doctors don't want you to know. It's called actually do your physical therapy. That's it. That's the trick. You actually do all the stuff your physical therapist wants you to do, and then suddenly you start to see improvement. So I think things are getting better. Basically, I have a really bad plantar fasciitis. I have a very torn, hurt, inflamed fascia on the bottom of my foot, and it hurts like a mother. I basically trace all my problems back to getting waders. That's pretty much it. I discovered years ago that when I stopped fishing in the winter, my entire body would hurt, but mostly my feet and lower legs would really hurt. And I deduced from that I was, by virtue of being a fat suburban wilderness hero and never doing any kind of self-care, I was like seriously abusing my body by doing all the fishing and hiking that I do. But then I would go stand in freezing cold water and ice my legs. And that kept me going. But then, and so in the winter when I was like, okay, it's too cold, it would start to hurt. But then the early spring, I'd get back in there, I'd be fine. I mean, nobody needs to walk around in the winter anyway. So then when I got waders, I received less benefit from the leg icing. And so I actually stopped using my waders this spring and did see some improvement until the water got warm, and now I'm back to square one. But so I'm actually treating the root of the problem now. Wish me luck. So this has been a rather cynical and jaded Tuesday antisocial. Thank you so much for watching, though. Yeah, Jesus Christ! Well, I hope you have enjoyed this Tuesday antisocial, because this will be the last video in the garage, because I'm gonna burn the bitch down. Like, if you burn down your own property and you're not trying to defraud the insurance, is it arson? I think it's okay. I mean, do I even need to pull a permit for this? That's all for now. Keep the ends out for the ties that bind.